Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Nur Shinta Ratna Wulan. I'm from International Program on Science Education, Faculty of Mathematics and Science Education, Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia. In this occasion, I would like to present my research with the title Socio-scientific Issue-Based Learning, an approach to support students' attitude towards science. The authors of the research are Nur Shinta Ratna Wulan, which is me, and Professor Anna Permanasari from Department of Chemistry Education, and Dr. Nana Wirano from Department of Science Education. So why do I took this research is because the first one, there is a lack participation in classroom activity in online learning, especially during COVID-19 pandemic. Therefore, further research is needed for fostering student interaction that can highly affect student participation. And based on OECD, the attitudes lead students to participate in scientific issue. So that's why attitude is important, especially in science and teaching learning. And based on this previous study, an active science teaching learning that increased students' attention could influence students' attitude towards science. This is based on Heavy Minoglu and Kubiatko. So in science teaching learning, we can use learning approach, and one of that is socio-scientific issue. And based on previous study that applies socio-scientific issue at the level of higher education, Virgil science course shows a positive influence on student attitude about science. Besides that, another study which applied socio-scientific issue and investigated student attitudes but in particular issue has been done. However, there is no recent study that applies socio-scientific issue-based learning or SSIBL that investigate the student's attitude towards science at the level of a junior high school student. Thus, the research objective is to investigate the effect of socio-scientific issue-based learning on student attitude towards science at junior high school level in learning energy research topic. And for the research method of this study was used pre-experimental method, which use one group pretest and post-test, and for the treatment is implement socio-scientific issue-based learning. As for the participant was chosen by convenient sampling, and there were 22 students from a junior high school with 16 male students and 16 female students with an age average of 12 until 13 years old. Furthermore, the research instrument in the study was used students' attitude towards science questionnaire that is adapted from the Abdul Al-Khaliq, and it consists of 5 subscales, which are attitudes, unfavorable outlook, controlled beliefs, behavioral belief, and intention. And this questionnaire, it consists of 32 statements, and here are the distribution of the statement, which the detailed attitude and unfavorable outlook subscale, it consists of 9 statement. Control beliefs consists of 2 statements. Behavioral beliefs and intention, it consists of 6 statements. The data got from the questionnaire then analyzed by using paired sample t-test when the data is in normal distribution. While for the data in not normal distribution, it was used Wilcoxon test, and there are 2 subscales that use Wilcoxon test since it's not normal distribution. At the end, it will determine the ending score, and it will categorize based on the Heck rule. As for the research procedure, it was implement project-based learning as learning model with socio-scientific issue-based learning as learning approach. And for the learning syntax of project-based learning involves Jalinus, which consists of 7 syntax, while for socio-scientific issue-based learning, it follows Presley for learning framework. This study was done in 2 meetings, and before the first meeting, the students were given attitude towards science questionnaire. And the first meeting, there are 6 syntax has been done, and it focused on student understanding of the energy research topic and skills training for making argumentation map as the project that made by using widget chart. And for the second meeting, it focused on student presentation and discussion of the argumentation made by the students. So the second meeting, it is the last step of the project-based learning. And after the second meeting, the students were given attitude to a science questionnaire as the post-test of the study. As for the result of the study, overall, the end-gain score of students' attitude towards science is shown negative, which is negative 0.047, which the pre-test score is higher than the post-test score. It means there is no improvement of students' attitude towards science. As for the detail, for each subscale of the students' attitude towards science, as shown in the graph, the average score of the pre-test is higher than post-test score in all the subscale. And as shown the table, the end-gain score for each subscale is categorized as low efficiency. Why does it happen? The first one is because the higher order practice of class environment. The class environment is one of the framework of the socio-scientific issue-based learning that has to facilitate students to have higher order practices such as argumentation, reasoning, and of course negotiating. However, in the class, the students are tend to quiet, and this condition it results negative attitude. And the second one is learner experience, which also the framework of the socio-scientific issue-based learning. The students are low interaction between the students because the students are given individual assignment. So it's better to have group assignment to make the student in higher interaction between each other, between the student, I mean. And the third reason is because there is a mis-syntax, which is the proposing the alternative energy. In this case, the students are directly guided by the teacher, not by the student. So the student has no activity in this syntax. So the student needs the proposing the alternative energy syntax. And the last one is the various dimension discussed. It means there is a lack of the dimension that discussed in this class, such as the student tend to talk about the economic dimension, and while for the ethical and political dimension is not discussed in the class. However, in socio-scientific issue-based learning, the dimension it has to be various, so it will be more interesting for the student. Okay, the last one for the conclusion, the first one, the implement of socio-scientific issue-based learning in the study has no improvement on students' attitude towards science in junior high school students because not all the framework of socio-scientific based learning is conducted well. And so for the future study, it is important to facilitating students for having higher order practice such as argumentation, presentation, and group discussion. Besides, the dimension of the issue discussed in the class has to be various, not only one dimension. It has to be various because it will make students interested to participate in the learning process. Well, maybe that's all for my research presentation. I hope this research could be valuable and useful in the future. And sorry for the mistake that I made during the presentation. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.